Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my Houston Texans slow sim franchise with the Houston Texans. We're in a new season, year 2025 now, after the Carolina Panthers win the Super Bowl, beating the Cincinnati Bengals 38-34 at the end of last season. We finished a disappointing 6-11, and with that, I think it's time to make some changes to our coaching staff. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm thinking we need to fire both coordinators. Our offense has not been doing, did not do well at all last year. I'm going to fire Ed Green here. And I'm also going to fire Alwa Torres. His defensive scheme doesn't seem to match up with our main 4-3 defensive scheme, so I'm going to fire him as well. And let's see who we can find to fill in these spots. So for offensive coordinator, I think I'm going to hire Jared Larson. We need somebody to help develop the quarterback situation. If I can get back to the screen. So Stroud needs some help in developing there. So I'm going to go ahead and hire Jared Larson. On the defensive side of the ball, definitely want somebody who can help out with a 4-3 defense, as that's the defense I definitely prefer running. Joe Evans looks good here in that he has some talents that can improve our secondary and our defensive line, which I think we need big time help in. So we'll go ahead and hire Joe Evans as our defensive coordinator. Some good news is we didn't have any retirements on the team. We're a very young team, and so apparently nobody's retired for the Texans, so that's a good thing. So in terms of re-signing players, we do have some players that we need to decide on for fifth-year options. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer to accept a fifth-year option on Derek Stingley and possibly renegotiate his contract later on. We got Kenyon Green, left guard. One year, $1 million. I'll accept that option as well. And let's see if we want to renegotiate with any of these other players. So I'm going to make one last offer to Deron Harmon just for depth purposes here. And he didn't sign. So I think that'll do it for re-signings for this year. So I want to use some of my staff points that I earned from firing our defensive staff to help in our recruitment here. We'll go ahead and do the defensive recruitment, this hometown discount here. Probably should have done that before. We definitely need defensive tackles more than free safety, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll do the discount on left and right defensive ends. Let's see if there's another. We'll do the corners as well. And I think that's all I'm going to use for now there. I'm going to save the rest of my points. Looking at the mock draft, we are actually picking 6th overall in this draft thanks to our meltdown at the end of last year. They have us picking Keon Williams. Which, that is left defensive end is definitely a position of need for us. And Keon Williams has elite physical abilities here. And seems to have okay skills as well. So if he would drop to us, that wouldn't be a bad pick. Daniel Ellerby as well, if he would fall to us, that would be I think a decent pickup as well. Although we used a first round pick on a wide receiver last year, I think having another wideout would not hurt. Quarterback, of course, is not a need. There's also Alfonso Stoudemire, who I've favorited, who also has elite physical abilities. And he has okay ratings. His ratings didn't turn out as good as I was hoping. He has F stamina and D block shedding and D power moves and C play recognition, but he does have B awareness and B tackle and pretty good pursuit. So that might be another option. It all depends on what these teams do ahead of us. Another speed rusher that would be very beneficial to us is Carlos Sims. He has pretty good physicals. His skills are kind of iffy. So a lot of different, I think some different directions we can go in at the number 6 spot. So in terms of free agency, we have 25 million in cap room. I think outside linebacker is a position of need for us. And if we can sign DJ Wonnum, it would definitely be an upgrade here. And we go ahead and give him a neutral offer. I also think it's time to say goodbye to Matt Paradis. He's costing us $3 million on the cap, and he's our 3rd best guard. I'll go ahead and release him now, free up some cap room. So we only have 3 wide receivers signed under contract right now. I'm gonna put a contract offer to Deontay Hardy. As he has high interest. And we could use another wide receiver, but it doesn't need to be an upper echelon wide receiver or anything. It's somebody who has high interest, who's not going to cost an arm and a leg here. So actually I'm going to hold off on that. We might be able to gain bigger leverage towards the end of free agency. So we definitely need to sign another tackle. We only have 2 tackles under contract. But none of these tackles seem to be very good, and they're wanting $4 million. For instance, Jermaine Ifedi is a 69 overall, and he's wanting a total of 3.4 million for 69 overall. All right, I'm gonna put a kind of a neutral offer out for Darian Kennard. He's a 70 overall right tackle. I'm also gonna put a contract offer to Desmond King, a corner. There's hardly any good corners in the draft this year, and we need some depth at that position. I'll make him a player-friendly offer. All right, so I put 4 offers out for this first period. Let's go ahead and evaluate the offers.
View a player's motivations.
Whoops,
you have
wrong
3
button.
evaluation periods with each stage, where players...
All right, did we sign anybody? We signed Desmond King. So that's good. Oh wait, we gotta put all positions here. Definitely the Madden interface is not the most user-friendly at all. Okay, so we did sign our other offers, which is good. Deontay Hardy, DJ Wanham, and Darian Kennard. That leaves us with 9.23 million of cap room. I want to see if we can restructure Laramie Tunsil's contract. Our left tackle. He's 31 years old. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. But we're taking a 28.9 million salary cap hit this year and next year. I haven't really worked with the contract restructures too much. Kind of want to see what we can do there, what our options are. It'll free up 6.34 million this season. 6.3 will be added per year to the final 1 year of his contract, 2025 cap. Yeah, so I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and restructure Laramie Tunsil. I don't plan on trading him or releasing him, so we won't take the extra cap hit. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That'll get us a little bit more extra cap space for this year. So Tyson Bowser, I think it's time to let go. He's only 70 overall. He's costing us 3 million on a salary cap. We'll incur a penalty, but we need the cap room. All right, a depth signing I think we need another tight end. I'm going to make an offer to Adam Troutman. All right, we also need some depth at the defensive tackle position. I'm going to go ahead and submit an offer to Kairos Tonga. All right, and I think I'll be ready to evaluate the offers here. All right, we signed Troutman. but we did not sign the defensive tackle. Yeah, we did not sign Tonga. But he didn't sign anywhere else either. So I think I'm gonna stand pat there. Although we only have 6.35 million in cap room, I'm not sure. How do I withdraw the offer? Yeah, I think we might have to withdraw the offer here. Let's see if we can find somebody else maybe who's like Levi Onwuzurika Reiki. There's always players who has names I cannot pronounce. Let's see if we can get him to sign here. And he signed. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and advance the stage. We do have some more depth we need to sign. However, we have some positions that we need backups like tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, and strong safety. Let's go and advance it to the next week. So I'd like to get a strong safety for depth. Jason Pennick, I think I'll make an offer for him. Just a team-friendly deal here. We'll go ahead and evaluate the offers. All right, he did not sign. Go ahead and evaluate once again. Okay, and he signed that time. That's good. That leaves us with 4.3 million in cap room. I think I'm gonna leave it there. And next up, I think we have the draft upcoming. It's kind of a weird draft because they just had college pro days here, but many of the top players are quarterbacks, and not many teams need quarterbacks, it seems. So we might be able to steal one of those quarterbacks for, as a backup quarterback or something like that. Looking at the wrong draft here. Yeah, the mock draft still has us taking Keon Williams here, which wouldn't be a bad pick. But you can see all these teams in front of us, none of them are taking quarterbacks. They have the first quarterback going to Tampa Bay right behind us. So I find that interesting. So now we need to choose 3 players to get private workouts for. I think the first player I'm going to select is Markel Dockett. As I think we potentially need somebody for the right tackle position long term. Doesn't need to be a starter right away. I definitely also want to scout Keon Williams, as I think he's, from the information that I have, he's the best prospect. However, he didn't go through his pro NFL combine and college pro days. So I would definitely want to see more information and get a private workout from him. So I'm going to select him. And for the strong safety position, I think I want to get more information on Alani Givens. I like the hybrid type strong safeties, and he's one of the few they have. So I'm going to select him as well. So the private workout results came in, and Keon Williams looks to be okay. I mean, his physicals still look okay. His skills are okay, except he might be a bit of an injury risk. His hit power is F, but I'm not too concerned about that for the defensive line position. But all the other ratings seem to be okay. Block shedding, you would like to see a little bit better. But he has A finesse moves, A pursuit, A tackle, and okay stamina. So we also requested private workouts from Markel Dockett, and his blocking is just outstanding, especially his power blocking stuff. He has B run block power, B pass block power. He has A awareness, A impact blocking. So definitely a physical type right tackle. He has elite strength as well. So he might be an option for us down the road. And Alani Givens was the third option we picked for a private workout. Definitely not a top tier player that I would consider picking in the first or second round, but he does have good play recognition, good man coverage, and good awareness, good hit power, which is what I look for in a strong safety. So we'll see if he's an option later on in the draft. All right, so we're gonna get started with the draft. We're at pick number 6. So we'll watch the first few picks here and see who gets picked. And the Rams pick Alfonso Stoudemire. I just didn't see it with him, especially for the first overall pick. Maybe I'm missing something, but he didn't look that great for me for a top 5 pick. All right, Eagles now on the clock. And they take John Rose, a left tackle. And the Giants are up next. And they take Carlos Sims, one of those left defensive ends that we were looking at as well, one of those speed rushers. So let's take a look. There are 2 teams left to pick before us. So I don't think we're in any danger of somebody picking Keon Williams. I might be wrong, but he would be the pick for us right now, I think. Although it is awfully tempting to pick one of these quarterbacks and trade them. We could also trade down, and Keon Williams might still be available to us. So let's just go ahead and advance to the next pick. And the Bears pick Khalil Gilchrist, linebacker out of Georgia. So now it's just the Patriots and us. Let's see what the Patriots do here. And they pick Daniel Ellerbe, the wide receiver. All right, so that opens up some options for us here. I know Tampa Bay is looking at quarterback. Are there any teams that might trade up with us to get one of those quarterbacks? So I got a few trade offers here, but none of them are really to my liking to trade down. Like, I'm willing to trade down maybe 5 to 8 spots. But a lot of these offers are like trading, further down than that, like 20 spots. Or the compensation involves picks for next year, which I don't want to do. The Bears are offering a first round pick next year and a second round pick and a fifth round pick this year, but that's not really what I'm looking for. The Bucks, as expected, are trying to move up to grab one of those quarterbacks. They're offering a second and a fourth this year, and a first and a fourth, a first from 2027, which I would not be interested in. The Colts are offering a trade down 7 spots and a fourth pick this year and a fifth pick next year, which I'm just not interested in doing. So if we look at the available players here, wow, they have 4 top 5 quarterbacks available. I'm thinking Keon Williams needs to be the pick here. The only downside is, as I mentioned, is the injury. He's the injury risk, but everything else is screaming to me that this is the pick. This is just too much of a need pick here, I think. Let's draft him. We'll go ahead and pick Keon Williams. And unfortunately, his normal development bummer. So we're now in the second round, pick number 6, and I don't know that we can pass up on corner Jaden Roth right here. Aggressive ball hawk. His physicals are good to great. He's anywhere from 3rd to the 5th fastest corner in the draft. He's the 3rd and 4th corner in the 3-cone drill and 2nd corner in the 20-yard shuttle. His skills, he has an A in catching, A in man coverage, A to C awareness, B in press, B in zone coverage. What's not to like about this guy? I'm going to pick Jaden Roth with the 2nd pick, with our 2nd round pick. And he has hidden development. That is good. So the 3rd round pick, this is where things can get dicey. Looking at the players remaining, we just picked a corner, so I don't think Dalvin Dye is an option here. Johnny Smith, I don't think is an option. Chad Baisley's been shooting up the draft board, going up 40 spots, but I'm just not seeing anything that sticks out to me on why he would be doing that. He doesn't seem to be great at anything. And his ratings are just all over the place. Dwight Holly seems kind of interesting, however, the tight end. He has great speed, great agility, great acceleration. He was the first tight end, first in the 3-cone drill both times at the College Pro Day and NFL Combine. 40-yard dash, he did well, top 5. His skills, he has B awareness, B catching, B run block, B catching traffic, B medium route. That doesn't seem too shabby for a 3rd round pick. There seems to be a lot of certainty with him, more certainty with him than J.D. Holcomb. We don't need a physical type wide receiver. We drafted that last year. Yeah, I think Dwight Holly is going to be the pick here. All right, normal development. Let's move on. All right, we're in the 4th round. And one player that's sticking out to me is Matt Barton, the power rusher, defensive tackle right here. if we look at his physicals, he has great strength. And looking at his combine results, he's like in the top 5 in in most of the categories. Even the 3-cone drill, he's at number 13, and he improved. But doesn't have much block shedding and play recognition. I guess that's why he's not so highly valued. However, we are in the 4th round, so you're going to get players that, aren't going to be good in some things. So I'm going to keep an eye on him, Matt Barton. Roy Walsh seems to be shooting up the draft boards. Let's see if anything sticks out with him. We probably could use a deep threat. He has good speed, elite acceleration. Finished first in wide receivers in a 3-cone drill. Wow. He has B deep route, but F medium route and F release. Having an F release isn't very good if you're going to be a deep threat. So I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Roy Walsh maybe in the next round, but in this round, I'd rather have more of a sure thing. We also have Quincy Samuels here. Nothing sticks out in his physicals. Yeah, just... We could use a receiving back, I guess. Hilaire. We have Hilaire. We could use a 3rd running back. Is Kevin Goodwin worth the pick here? Probably not. I'm liking Matt. I think I haven't found anybody better than Matt Barton. I think that's going to be the pick here. All right, no more development. Let's move on. What our next pick? I think we're going to take Roy Walsh. He was the first wide receiver in a 3-cone drill. I like taking players who are elite in one area later in the draft. And let's see if we can. Okay, we get normal development once again. Let's move on. All right, we're still in the 5th round. We have 2 5th round picks. All right, I think we're going to take Alani Cowan with our next pick, another wide receiver, as he was first among wide receivers in the 3-cone drill and 4th in vertical jump and 6th in the 40-yard dash. So maybe we can get lucky with Alani Cowan. We'll go ahead and pick him. Nope, no more development. All right, and for our final round pick, I think I'm gonna take Adam Harding. He has some pretty good physicals, and he's still available. So why not? We can take right tackle Adam Harding. All right, normal development once again. All right, and for our second pick in the 7th round, I think I'm gonna take Kendall Monk, defensive tackle, a power rusher. Take a flyer out on him. All right, we actually have another pick in the 7th round. I'm gonna go ahead and take a flyer out on Sam Goldberg, a center. Seems to have some pretty good key ratings for a 7th round pick. So we'll see if we can maybe find a hidden gem in Sam Goldberg. Normal development. All right. Before I forget, I do want to improve our talent tree here. I'm going to pick on the move, boost throw on the run by the quarterbacks by 1. All right, taking a look at our draft summary, we did have 9 picks. we didn't get. Well, I think we only got one hidden development, unfortunately, and that would be, I think, from Jaden Roth. But Keon Williams did end up being a 77 overall, which is good. And we might have a couple of hidden gems in here. We are using my new dynamic weekly progression system as I am in my USFL franchise. So we're no longer doing the off-season dynamic progression, the one-time thing like I did last season. And we're definitely not using the XP system from Madden. So all these players have a chance to develop into better players, and they even have a chance of busting too. So we'll see what happens there. In terms of scheme, I think I'm going to switch here to a 46 defense, as it seems to be a better fit for the players we have. It's a 90% scheme fit. So we're going to make that move. On offense, is there something better we can do there? We're currently at 77%. Vertical zone run seems to might be a better option. That's 83%. We could also do spread. But our quarterback doesn't seem to like that. So I think we'll switch over to vertical zone run, see if that works better this year. So we still need a legit backup quarterback. I'm gonna go ahead and sign Jacoby Brissett here for $1.35 million. And I also want to bring in a rookie quarterback into camp here, who maybe wasn't drafted, like a free agent. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort by player age here. And we see there's some rookie quarterbacks. Here's Richard Dre's 63 overall. He's a scrambler, but we can take a flyer out on him. So definitely want to bring in another running back into camp, as we only have 3 on the roster. And Garrison Bard looks like a good candidate. Why he wants 2.6? What? Not sure why a rookie would be requesting that much here. You're a rookie free agent. Oh, they're all requesting. All right, this guy's only requesting 880K. So we'll invite him. He's not being greedy. All right. We could also use another left tackle, a backup left tackle. Let's see if there's somebody we can invite, somebody young that we can invite to camp. That's not asking for an arm and a leg. Somebody like Spencer Craig. Well, he's only a 58 overall. I don't know if I want. Ideally, we'd have a pass protector, but we may not be able to find one. I gotta sort by age again because Madden is not very user friendly. All right, we'll go Will Chapman here. And let's see if we can find a left guard to invite to camp as well. A couple guys are, a lot of guys out here aren't too bad. They're at 65 overall. Although I don't want to spend that much money. I think we can go at Daniel LaFleur right here. Just invite these guys to camp and see how they perform in practice. And I want to get one more safety. Just to invite to camp. They probably won't make the roster unless they just tremendously impressed during camp. But we need some bodies in camp. Let's see, Kendall McPherson. Let's see, we got Keith Higgins here. Let's invite him. And I want to invite a punter because a punting situation was kind of frustrating last year. Wow, this guy's a rookie, 84 overall, but he wants $2.3 million. No, sir. No, sir. Not that many rookie punters. All right, we'll go with George Wagner. All right, that gets us to 66. I'm gonna hold off there for now. Let's go ahead and go through training for the week, and then we'll simulate the week. All right, we're inside of the Madden Trainer tool, and if you're interested in using this tool, it is actually in beta. I'll leave a link in the description of this video if you want to try it out for yourself for your franchise. It is an awesome way of adding some dynamic progression on a weekly basis to your franchise. Makes it more exciting, at least to me it does. So this is the first time we're using the tool for this Texans franchise. So we need to initialize it first. So I'm gonna go ahead and load the franchise. And I'm gonna select my Texans. It says it has not been initialized yet, so we're gonna go ahead and initialize it. All right, and it says we're ready for progression. So let's go ahead and run our first week of training in training camp. This is before our first preseason game. I'm gonna click simulate training here. All right, and it said training complete. Iteration pre-1 has been created. So now we can go ahead and look at how our players trained during the week. I'm going to go to training results up here. Let me see if I can scale this up just a little bit. That might be better. All right, and we're looking at the 49ers now. We want to look at the Texans. All right, and I want to see the rookies. I'm gonna sort this by years pro here so I can see how our younger players have progressed. And first thing that catches my eye is Roy Walsh, the rookie wide receiver, had an elite practice and he improved big time in a bunch of things. He went +2 in release and did a +1 in spectacular catch, deep route running, catching, and awareness. So that's good. That is always good to see. None of our other rookies really stood out. Matt Barton got an increase in stamina. He had a good workout. None of our other receivers had a good training camp, however, or a good practice. But they didn't have a bad one either. So let's see, we got some one-year players. Dominic Kelly, who we drafted last year, had an excellent practice, gained pursuit and play recognition. That is good to see. Yes, he has star development, so odds are he has more potential to earn attribute gains. CJ Stroud getting +1 in awareness. Good to see him. We need him to continue to develop. John mentioned one of our wide receivers was lethargic in training, so he got a -1 to speed there. Kenyon Green, our young guard, got some run block finesse. Adam Troutman, the tight end who we signed in the offseason, had an elite practice, but he only gained 1 in short route running. That probably means he's limited in his potential. Clyde Edwards-Helaire improves his juke move, which is always good. Josie Jewell is injured and did not participate in workouts or practice, and unfortunately, he's going to lose some agility and tackle. A lot of other players did good in practice, but made no gains. Denzel Perryman, our linebacker, was lethargic, lost some agility. That's never good to see a veteran, like a 10-year veteran, be lethargic because they cannot regain those physical attributes when they lose them. All right, that's pretty much it for this week. Let's go ahead, go back in game and simulate our preseason game. All right, we're in game. We'll go ahead and simulate the first preseason game here against the Chargers. All right, looks like we lost 28-9. Let's go back to the training tool and simulate practice for the week. All right, we're back in the tool. Let's go ahead and simulate training once again. All right, preseason 2 has been created. Let's go ahead and look at the training results. And we want to view Houston. I'm going to sort by rookies. Sam Goldberg, rookie, getting some pass block power and some pass block. Derek Dixon is injured, did not participate in practice, lost some ball carrier vision. One of our quarterbacks was lethargic. Our first-year quarterback got some acceleration, which is interesting. Mike Watkins, our one-year guy, wide receiver that we drafted first-round pick last year, got some catch in traffic. That's good to see. Dwayne McBride, lethargic in practice. Did he lose last week too? We can click on him and see. No, he did not. Christian Harris, our outside linebacker, got 2 in tackle and 1 in pursuit. That's good to see, third-year guy. DJ Wanham had elite practice, but no gains. Titus Howard, our starting right tackle, got some run block finesse. That's good. Josie Jewell, elite practice, but no gains either. Once you get to these older guys, once they reach a certain age, they cannot gain any more football skills, so that's not going to be surprising. Corey Littleton, lethargic. All right. So now what we can do is if we want, we can check the overall progress, see how overalls were affected from last week. So we can click here and go to Houston. And we can see after last week's workouts, we had 2 players that went up. Roy Walsh, not surprising after the awesome practice he had. Awesome week of practice. He went up to a 70 overall. So he might be moving up the depth chart. We also had Levi Onwuzurike. I think we signed him as a free agent. He went up 1 point as well. Let's see if any players lost anything. And no, nobody lost anything. So that's good to see. All right, let's go back in game. And because Roy Walsh has had a good training camp so far, since he jumped up to a 70 overall, I'm going to move him ahead in the depth chart. Wait, hold on. I'm sharing the wrong screen here. There we go. Since Walsh has had a good training camp, I moved him to the fifth slot in the wide receiver rotation as he moved up to a 70 overall ahead of Alani Cohen. All right, let's go ahead and simulate or advance to the next week, thereby simulating the game against the Packers. And we lose 26-0. All right, let's go ahead and go through practice, and then we'll do the scenario that came up. All right, let's simulate training once again. All right, and we'll go to training results. We want to go to Houston. And we'll sort by years pro. Keon Williams, unfortunately, is hurt. Did not practice. Lost some finesse moves. Derek Dixon was lethargic in workout results, but he did have a good practice. So he loses 1 stamina, but got stiff arm and ball carrier vision. Unfortunately, not seeing much improvement from the rookies. Mike Watkins got a +1 in change of direction. Good to see him continue to improve in his second year. Brandon Kitty, our center, lost strength. That's not good. CJ Stroud had an elite practice. That is good to see. We need him to continue to improve. He got +2 awareness, +1 play action, +1 throw accuracy short, and +1 throw accuracy deep. Tank Dell got +1 to catching. We need Tank Dell to improve as well, as he has not been living up to his potential. Darian Kennard, 3rd year right tackle, got some strength and pass block finesse. Titus Howard got pass block finesse and run block finesse. I think that's the 2nd week in a row he got some gains. Let's see. Yes. So he got run block finesse and 2 weeks in a row. That's good to see. As he's starting to reach that age where he's not going to be able to improve his football skills, once he reaches 31. So Poona Ford's injured, unfortunately, lost some stamina. Dalton Schultz, bad practice, loses awareness. Shaquille Griffin, our corner, losing acceleration. So having a lot of players lose some attributes. It's disappointing to see. All right, now let's go to our overall practice and see how our players' overall progress has been impacted here. Levi, and I'm not even going to say his name, has gone up 2 overall. Our defensive tackle. We need some defensive tackle help. That is good to see that he's improving. That he's improved by that much in just 2 weeks of training camp. Mike Watkins going up to an 83 overall. That's good to see as well. And we see Derek Dixon, that rookie halfback. He has lost 1 to his overall. He went down from a 60 to 59. So he's probably not going to be lasting long on this roster. I'm curious to see how players are doing across the league. So we can click on all teams here. And we can actually see there's a couple players in the league who actually gained 3 points overall in the first couple weeks of training camp. So Nick Leverett, 5th-year guard in Jacksonville, gained 3 points. And Clifton Goings, a rookie safety of the New Orleans Saints, has gone from a 67 to 70 in just 2 weeks of training camp. All right, let's go back into game and run our scenario and then simulate our 3rd preseason game. All right, I'm hoping the scenario will give us a development upgrade. Let's see, training camp standout. Because if it gives us XP, it's not going to do us any good. Dominic Kelly had a strong camp and has continued to build on that this preseason. Where has he improved the most? Play recognition, I think. All right, Dominic Kelly received +5 play recognition. That is good. That is awesome. All right, I want to go ahead and save our franchise before I continue. And we will advance to next week. And we won 31-3 over the Cardinals. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna save the franchise. And we got to make some cut decisions. Of course, a bunch of those players may end up going to the practice squad. But let's go back to the training tool and do another week of training camp, our final week. All right, let's go ahead and simulate training once again. All right, preseason 4 has been created. Let's go to our results here. Not seeing much green, but not seeing much red either. Let's sort by years pro. And finally, Jaden Roth, our rookie cornerback, our second round pick, finally got some boost here. He got +1 in acceleration. Younger players are more likely to gain physical attributes. Keon Williams still hurt, unfortunately. Our first round pick, he lost some awareness, so that's not good that he's not being able to progress, and he's even losing a little bit while he's injured. Yeah, so our receivers, they're not losing anything, but they're not gaining anything either, unfortunately. Simon Holcomb had an elite practice. One of our backup quarterbacks. That is good. He gained a bunch of attributes there. That is good to see. I think we have a battle on our hands for the backup quarterback position between 3 players, essentially. Simon Holcomb had a pretty good training camp. He gained some acceleration back in preseason week 2, and then he made all these gains just now. Tank Dell with a +1 in awareness. Good to see him make a little bit of progress. John Mechie had a bad practice. Damian Pierce got some ball carrier vision and some break tackle. I think that's the second time he made some progress. Nope, that's his first. Titus Howard, our starting right tackle, had an elite practice. That's good. He got +2 run block finesse and +2 pass block finesse. Again, that is the 3rd week in a row he had at least a good practice. So he is rapidly, what I would say is rapidly increasing his ratings there. That is good to see. He is our starting right tackle. We need him to continue doing that throughout the season. And nothing else of consequence. Denzel Perriman being lethargic, losing 1 strength there. So let's go ahead and look at our overall progress. Again, this does not these overalls are not going to include the training from this week. It's going to be 1 week behind, but we can still start to see how players are doing. And CJ Stroud has gotten a +2 during training camp, 81 and 83. Dominic Kelly got a +1, and so did Mike Watkins. Two players with star development there. And we have a couple players now with a -1 as Brandon Kenny. That is disappointing to see from him as a second-year guy with star development, getting a -1 in his overall. And Keon Williams has lost 1 as well, but he's been hurt, so that is understandable. So we can't totally blame him on that. I'm kind of curious to see Brandon Kenny's work ethic. Let's take a look at Brandon Kenny here. Let's look at his practice history and see why that is. Okay, he was lethargic in week 3. That's why he lost 1 in strength. All right, let's go back in game and start to adjust our depth chart and see what players we're gonna have to part ways with. So for our first cut, Simon Holcomb has an awesome training camp. He has improved his ratings rapidly, and he's even higher than Jacoby Brissett at this point. Richard Dre has been a little lethargic. I think I'm going to cut Richard Dre. So that's 1 cut made at the quarterback position. So I'm not terribly happy with the running back room during training camp. Derek Dixon was hurt a little bit, and so he never really was able to progress that much. I am going to keep him for now and put him on the practice squad. But if he doesn't start to improve in the coming weeks, we're going to have to part ways with him and find somebody else who can maybe put more effort into training. So at the wide receiver position, we have 6 wideouts on the roster. Roy Walsh has had a great training camp. He will be our starting kick returner and punt returner, as he's a 90+ in those 2 areas. Alani Cohen has had an okay camp. He hasn't progressed, though. He hasn't had a bad camp, but he hasn't progressed either. So I think we can probably move him to the practice squad. As a tight end position, the rookie Dwight Holly has not been able to make progress, but he's still over and above Tegan Quinteriano, who has had a decent training camp. So I want to keep Quinteriano and put him on the practice squad if we can. We cannot. So I'm going to go ahead and I think we can move Dwight Holly to the practice squad. We'll do that. All right, so we got 5 tackles. We need to move at least one of them. It's going to be between Adam Harding and Will Chapman. Neither player has progressed during training camp, but neither player has had a bad training camp either. I think we'll go with Adam Harding just because we already have 2 right tackles. And we'll move him to the practice squad. 8 more players to go. So some bad news that we didn't mention is Keon Williams, our #1 draft pick, broke his wrist and he's out for 5 weeks. That's unfortunate. So that means we're going to have to keep around Jonathan Greenard and Dante Fowler on the active roster, I believe. Yeah, because we got Will Anderson over here. So I think we're going to have to stay pat at the defensive end position for now anyway. At defensive tackle, Poona Ford, unfortunately, is still our best defensive tackle. We did sign Levi on was a right. I don't know where all these weird names are coming from, but we signed him in the offseason, so he's on. He's going to be starting. So we're gonna have to move a couple. I think a couple of these guys. I think Matt Barton we can move to the practice squad. He's had an okay camp. Kendall Monk, I think we'll move to the practice squad as well. So at the outside linebacker position, we have an interesting situation here where Elijah Malone he's a first-year guy, but he's almost as good as Corey Littleton, and Corey Littleton has this big contract. We can save 2.59 million by releasing Corey Littleton. I think that is something we should do. So I think we're going to cut Corey Littleton, and that is going to free up a spot. We'll take a small penalty, but I think it's worth it. At middle linebacker, I think we can say goodbye to Jake Hansen. He's only a 65 overall. Can't put him on the practice squad. We'll go ahead and release him. And wow, do we have a lot of corners we're going to have to move away from here. As we still have, I think, 4 spots to free up. Alex Austin is a second-year guy who has not progressed. He's at a 68. He's by far beneath everybody else, so I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Alex Austin. Tavier Thomas, I think, is going to be another casualty as we can't put him on the practice squad. And we'll save over $2 million releasing him. So I think we're going to release him as well. All right, I think we can move Keith Higgins to the practice squad here. He has not progressed, but it's still untold if he has any potential or not. So now we only got 1 player left. And unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye to George Wagner as he has not progressed. It is hard for punters and kickers to progress. And he could not beat out Jake Bailey, unfortunately. So we are going to have to release George Wagner. All right, and with that, we've finally made all of our cuts. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to advance to next week. We're going to run training for week 1. Look at the overall changes just so we can see the overall changes, and then next video we'll prepare for our game against the Titans and actually play our game against the Titans. So let's go ahead and advance to next week. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save the franchise. All right, let's go ahead and go into Madden Trainer and simulate a week of practice. All right, let's go ahead and simulate training. So this represents the first week of practice in the regular season. So this iteration is called Reg 1. We'll look at the results here. Our punter being lethargic. And Jaden Roth, our rookie corner, whom we got out of the second round, had an elite practice finally. Got some play recognition and some press. Byron Childers, our defensive end, had an excellent practice as well. Keon Williams, unfortunately, is still losing attributes because he is still hurt. with that broken wrist. Adam Harding, right tackle, had an elite practice. Got 2 awareness, run block finesse, and pass block finesse. Kendall Monk, defensive tackle, got +2 play recognition. That is good. Mike Watkins had a bad practice, lost in catching. Jason Taylor, free safety, had a good workout and elite practice. Got +2 to zone coverage. That is good. And Will Anderson had a good practice, +1 to tackle and +1 to finesse moves. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had an elite practice. Even after 5 years, had a +1 juke move, +2 ball carrier vision, and +1 to carrying. He had a good training camp as well. So it was good to see him continuing to improve. Andrew Beck, our fullback, got some improvements as well. Shaquille Griffin being lethargic. All right, so let's take a look at the updated overall progress, because that will include our final week of training camp. All right, and you can see we now have 3 players who have increased by 2 in their overall. I can't remember who was not in that group before, but the 3 players are CJ Stroud, Titus Howard, our right tackle, and Levi Onwuzurike, our defensive tackle. So he's up to 75 now. Simon Holcomb, our backup quarterback, he won the backup. He won a spot on the roster. He gained 1 point of overall. Jaden Roth, our rookie, gained 1 point to 78 overall. That's pretty good for a rookie. And we still have just 2 players with a -1 difference. Okay, with that, I'm going to end the video here. That'll do it for our off-season. Next week, we'll start preparing for our game against the Tennessee Titans. And hopefully we can do better this season and get off to a good start. Thanks once again for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.